Alright, this is going to be a short little video because I was talking with Jason the other day about different bodyweight workouts, and I want to demonstrate some of the things that I do that you don't really need any equipment. Two of them you don't need any equipment. One of them that I'll talk about, I won't be able to demonstrate it, but the other one I'll talk about is it requires at least a pull-up bar or something to hang on, which you can find at parks and schools. You might even have one at your own in your own backyard. You can use a tree limb. So these workouts, they're body weight exercises, so you don't need any extra weights, and it's designed to basically you're going to be sweating, you're going to be huffing and puffing, and it's going to be building a lot of muscular strength and muscular endurance and your cardio system all wrapped up in one. And these workouts, they vary in time. One has a set number of reps total, and the other one is just based on your ability. And so the first one that I want to talk about, it's a push-up and lunge complex, and it's done every minute on the minute until you cannot complete the prescribed reps in less than a minute, because you want to try to give yourself some rest time. So depending on how fast you do the push-ups and the lunges, you can have 30 seconds, 20 seconds rest until the minute's up, and then you go again. And generally I tell people, and most of the people I communicate with about this, they're usually in a slightly better shape than your average person. So I usually have them start at 12, do 12 reps of each, and then keep going and going and going. And once you can do it for a full hour, you bump it up to 14, do the same thing, and then 16, do the same thing. But for each person that's not in shape, hasn't worked out in a while or ever, you need to figure out what you can do. So, and there's variations of push-ups and lunges. You know, you can use squats in place of lunges, and you can use quarter squats if you can't go all the way down, if you don't have the strength to go all the way down. And for like the push-ups, you can put your hand up on a bed, on a dresser, or even on the wall to make it a lot easier. And of course, you know, once you get up to about 20, if you can do 20 for a full hour, you're solid. Like, there's very few people who will ever achieve that, but you potentially could. And so this first one, I'll demonstrate a couple rounds with it, and it's fairly simple, fairly easy. We'll be doing 12 push-ups and 12 lunges, and you try to crank them out relatively fast, but you don't want to sacrifice form. And 12's not a whole lot of each, especially if you're used to it. So when my timer hits on the minute, I'll start my push-ups, then go into my lunges, then rest the rest of the minute. And I'll do a few rounds, but you guys can go until you can't complete it no more. And just cranking out 12 and 12. And the lunges, they're alternating lunges, so you'll be doing 6 on each side. I prefer to step back into my lunge instead of step forward unless I'm outside. My timer's starting. So 12 push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Lunges. And like I was saying, so I'm going to rest the rest of the minute, but I like to do walking lunges if I'm outside, But when I'm inside like this, I prefer to step back. It's just something I've been used to. I don't know where along the line I started it, but by now I've done thousands. My minutes up, 12 more. 12 lunges. And rest the rest of the minute. And it may not be too difficult your first time through, but when you can do it for 60 sets, so 60 minutes, bump up the reps, bump it up to 14. And then you go 14, 16, 18, 20. And you'll feel the cardio. You could already hear me slightly breathing. My minute's up. 12 more. That's a little bit more, that's extra. And you just keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's the basic format. Every minute on the minute. Don't slack off. As you can see, I had 20, 30 seconds, probably 25 to 30 seconds of rest. But as you're going along, like at, say, set number 40, you're 40 minutes into it. And you've done hundreds of push-ups, hundreds of lunges. And so you're going to start slowing down. If your cardio is not up to par, like it won't let you. Like you'll hit a wall and just, you're done. And it's a good workout. Works your cardio, works your upper body, works your lower body. And I love it. Like you do that just with 12 reps. If you do that for an hour, man, you'll burn a hell of a lot more calories than you would in some aerobics class. A hell of a lot more. And then when you're doing 14, it just keeps going up. And it's brutal once you start getting up there. But I've noticed that with people who work out they work out 2 to 3 times a week, they can do the 12 rep scheme right around for 15 minutes before they start tanking. And just tell them build up from there. There's probably only one person I've ever met who was able to hit 30 minutes straight right off the bat without having to work up into it, which is pretty solid. You know, pretty solid lungs, pretty solid legs, pretty solid arms, and they're in great shape. So the second workout, well, that workout, I don't remember, like, it's not my creation to a certain extent, because I remember somebody telling me, and I can't remember for the life of them, the 12 and 12 scheme. But they only said, you know, to do it for 15 minutes because, you know, when you're doing the military fitness test, your cardio, like your 1.5 mile run, or if you're in the Army, your 2-mile run is, you know, usually right around 15 or less. And so that was the whole point of it, was to train your cardio for 15 or less. I added the part where you just keep adding minutes every single time you come back. Like, so say if today you can do, say, 22 minutes of the 12 and 12, take a day off, come back to it, the next time you should be able to hit 24, 25. and that's pretty consistent. And like some people, they're able to jump up more, but you should at least be able to do 2 more, and which is good. And eventually get up to 60 minutes total, and you don't need to increase your time. You can if you want to play around with it, but it's better to go back and add reps to each set. So 14, 14. Always keep it even, because remember, you're doing alternating lunges. So you're adding 1 for one side and 1 for the other. So you're always adding 2. But and now that was the part that I added in, was just adding extra minutes, and then once you get up to an hour, go back and make it higher intensity, add a few more reps. So this next one, it's loosely based off of a workout Dan John does. He calls it the 10,000 kettlebell swing challenge. Look it up if you want to learn about it. So it's kind of based off that rep scheme, and I liked it, but not all the time are you going to have a weight to swing with you. And if you're just starting out, it's better to start out with your body weight. So what I did was I took his scheme where you're doing 500 reps per workout, and I changed the swings to squats, body weight squats. And I do 2 different types. For part of it is Hindu squats, which I'll demonstrate, and then the other part is regular squats. And then Dan John, with his, he said you can add heavy presses in between sets, just to help work out your pressing power and stuff like that. And what I did was I added sets of 10 push-ups in between. So the basic format is this. Your first set of squats is 10 squats, and I use Hindu squats for the first 3 sets, and then regular flat-footed squats, whatever you want to call it, for the last set. So your first set of squats is 10 squats, and then you transition into 10 push-ups. Your second set of squats is 15 squats, again Hindu squats, and then you do another 10 push-ups. Your third set is 25 squats, and then you do another 10 push-ups. And then your last set of squats is 50 squats. 50 squats straight, and then another 10 push-ups. So, and that's one time through. So when you're done with that one time through, you have 100 squats and 40 push-ups knocked out. And Dan John, in his workout program, he states that you can take minute, half rest, whatever, and then go through it 4 more times. So you're doing 500 squats total, and you're doing 200 push-ups total in the whole workout, and you're trying to do it as fast as possible. You're trying to compress your time down. What I like to do with it is I don't take once I complete my 50 squats, 10 push-ups, I go right back into the 10 Hindu squats. It's harder on your cardio, harder on your legs, but once you get used to it, like your first time doing it, you probably absolutely would not. You'll need the rest in between. But once you get used to it, you can take out that rest period in between rounds and just bust it out as quickly as possible. And one of the things that I sometimes do, like if I'm feeling strong in my upper body, not too fatigued from other workouts during the week, sometimes I'll change up the push-ups from regular push-ups to like diamond or dive bomber push-ups, or have my feet elevated up on something. Other times I'll do 15 push-ups instead of 10 push-ups in between. So you can play around with that as your upper body gets stronger and you want to. But like at least once or twice a month, I'll come back to this workout and do it strict, regular push-ups, do squats strict, in order to test my time. And I can crank it out in 19 minutes, without really pushing myself all the way to the max. And so that's a good number to work down to. And I think the first time I've ever tried it with just the body weight exercises, it was probably around 30, 35 minutes, somewhere in there. So I was able to cut it down and compress everything, and it's a great workout. Killer cardio, absolute killer cardio. So I'll do one round through, not five, but I'll do one round through so you can see what it's like and see what the Hindu squats are if you've never seen them before. So the Hindu squats, like your regular squats, you stand flat-footed, you sit back until your thighs are parallel and you come up. The Hindu squats, a little bit easier to see from the side, you're going to be coming up onto the balls of your feet and you're going to squat down until your butt touches your calves. So it's going to look like this. Down, and I can't go any lower because, well, it's my hamstrings touching my calf, and then you come up. A lot of people, they'll swing their arms with it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Personal preference. So remember, first 3 sets, Hindu squats, last set, flat-footed regular squats. So I'll go through it once right quickly. So first set is 10 Hindu squats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10 push-ups. Now it's 15 Hindu squats, and these really work your quads. If you're not used to it, you'll feel it. So now we're back to push-ups, 15 push-ups, or 10 push-ups. Now this set, the third set, is your 25 Hindu squats. Now, back down for your push-ups. Now this is your 4th set of squats, so you're going to be cranking out 50 regular squats. If you have trouble going all the way down, go down as far as you can until you build up to going at least halfway with your thighs. So your thighs should be parallel to the ground. 50. So back down to your push-ups. And that's one time through. You're going to repeat that 4 more times. So that was 100 squats, 40 push-ups. When you do it 5 times total, 500 squats, 200 push-ups. And you can, if you're not used to the Hindu squats, you're going to feel it mostly in your quads, right? And regular squats, it works your glutes and hamstrings a lot too. Make sure you come up, lock your knees, don't come up partially. Legs straight, boom, and then go back down. Get the biggest range of motion you can to work your muscles the best. And then when you're trying for time, you're going to have it ingrained in you to do full range of motions, so you're not shorting yourself with the effectiveness of the workout. You need the workout to be as effective as possible, and I'd rather have you do a time that's a couple minutes slower just to make sure you got the reps fully and cleanly. Same thing with the push-ups. Now it's a little bit different if you you can't go all the way down. Some people, like, they're just never really worked out, so it's perfectly fine if you have to short the range of motion, especially like with the squats, not going all the way down all the way. But as you do it, make a conscious effort to really get the maximum from each rep. That's more important than anything, okay? Because you're just improving your life by focusing on perfection. And tell you what, it's a great workout. If you just pick one of these and do it 3 to 5 days a week, and after a month switch to another one, you know, you'll see a huge increase in your muscular strength and endurance and your cardio. You'll be able to run farther, faster. You just have a hell of a lot more energy, and it's great. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to have competitions. There's just a ton of things you can do with these just to make it more challenging, more entertaining. Just focus on not getting hurt and pushing yourself. So with those two, obviously all you need is the floor. The third one that I like to do, it's set up a little bit different. So it includes push-ups, pull-ups, and squats. So you need a pull-up bar, or at least something to pull on, you know. And for those of you who cannot do a full range pull-up, you know, or you don't have a pull-up bar, whatever, like using a table and sticking your feet under it and just you're doing basically a vertical row, that works. You know, that works the muscles similarly. Not exactly the same, but you'll be building a lot of strength and endurance with it. There's just a dozen different ways you can work around pull-ups and pull-ups variations. You know, you can use bands if you got the setup to do use bands to take some of the weight off your body. Yeah, there's just a ton of things you can do with pull-ups. But the rep scheme is you're going to try to do as many